posting violin videos. A lot of people have been asking me to do violin tutorials on YouTube and asking me to give them tips. I just picked it up, you know, give them tips, stuff like that. And I'm sorry I can't do this because violin is just too complicated. If you ask most musicians, well, they'll tell you that violin is probably the hardest musical instruments out there. And this instrument here and what you can do, what people can do with it is probably on the pushing the limit of human potentiality. And I have a teacher that once told me that the only thing that's harder than playing violin is a brain surgery. And this one other teacher said that it's 10,000 times harder than what the public perceives to be. So the first thing why the violin is so hard is very obvious. The left and right hand are doing completely two different things. The right brain and the left brain have to communicate really well when you play the violin. Different bow strokes. Look at the keyboard here. You see how clearly divided each note is? The hardest thing about playing the violin is find the notes. You have to make the notes instead of, you know, if you play the piano, the note is there for you. You can't play out of tune. If I ask a student playing the piano for the first time to play A, the middle A, 10 times, he's gonna get it right 10 times, no matter how stupid it is. You get it 10 times, you're gonna get it right. But on the violin, where the fuck are the notes? You see this little fingerboard? This is where you have to fit all the shit in here. Someone says, okay, guitar is like that. Look at the fingerboard of the guitar. Look how big this is. Look how fucking tiny this thing is. And you see this line here? Those lines here tell you exactly what the notes are, right? There's nowhere in this fingerboard here that tells you where the notes are. It's amazing how violinists can know where each note is. And the higher you go, the smaller the distance between the notes are. Another thing that's really hard about the violin is the shifting of the positions. Okay, let me play you a C major scale on the first position. Okay, that's 8 octave. I have to go up, I have to shift. How many notes can you play with the first position? Not many. That's why you need to shift into another position. And each time you shift, it's another whole a different set of fingerings and ways of playing. And the spaces in between the notes are completely different. So it's kind of like having 10 different keyboards that you have to, you know, and each keyboard has its own set of rules and fingering and spaces between. Imagine if you type a sentence. Imagine typing on a keyboard. You don't have all the keys. A is always there, C is always there, it's always the same. You just have to do this. Right? But imagine this keyboard times 10. Okay, I'm going to play you the opening of the Lotto Concerto. I just want to show you how many different positions that I had to switch just to play that one little passage. It's like typing the sentence, I am Frankie, I don't give a fuck, using 10 different keyboards. Every time I move my hand, that's another position. Where the fuck is the high C on here? Where is it? Pretty good, I got it. Let's find the last C, right there. Look at that, look at that. If my finger goes like this, 1 millimeter higher instead of this, that's the difference between this note and this note, and you're fucked. Not only that, you have to learn how to make music. You have to learn how to play beautifully, make good tones. That's another aesthetic knowledge in itself, you know? And you also have to learn how to play philosophically, meaning that you have to understand the theory behind. I took music theory; it's hard as shit. It's like calculus. So, and you have to understand the history of the music and the composer, and it's like this phrasing and stuff like that. Like this phrase right here. Why should you play it one way or the other? Let me play it 2 ways. Why should it play this way instead of... You know, all the same notes, but interpreted differently. You know, you have to know why. It's like art, you have to know why. So this, being able to play this thing, the real stuff, like the concertos, right? The major concertos, the Beethoven's, the Sibelius. Here, let me show you the concerto stuff. So a really good violinists have to play this game of millimeters for like an hour throughout the concert. Like, all this notes here, where does it go? You know? All this shit, right? Like this is the first movement. This much is the first movement of the Tchaikovsky concerto, which I just completed. I just finished practicing this. Now I have to go back and polish this, which is 21 pages for the first movement. Now I'm working on the second movement right now, and still gonna get to the third movement. Which this right here, a 31 piece of music. This is probably the pinnacle of human evolution right here. Composing this and being able to play it, it's like doing physics. If you ask the people that really perfect it, like it's like permanent and high phase, they'll tell you that they're still perfecting it, and they've been playing for 20,000 hours. You know, so like I'm not exaggerating in my last video when I said to perfect this piece of music takes 10,000 hours of practice. If you start violin past the age of 8 and trying to get through this, you just probably can't. It's so hard that you have to mold a child's brain along with it. So I encourage you guys to pick up instruments. You get a lot of people pick up instruments and their grade matters increase. But I suggest you not to pick up the violin, because just putting a child through this shit is fucking like tormenting. It's like child abuse. See, a lot of you just want to play music instruments just to pick up chicks, you know, just to impress girls. But you know, I have experiences where, you know, I play the Paganini to girls and it just goes way over their head. They don't get it. So they're just like, okay. Cover songs like these, you know, pop songs, they're like, ah! And then like, you know, you want to impress a little more intelligent girls, this with this. But with the violin, you can, it just takes the whole year just to learn how to hold it. And even if you want to play like Lady Gaga cover on the violin, first of all, it sounds shit on the violin. Even to make that sound, it takes like, if you used to practice, you're gonna sound like this. Here, copy that in two years.